Hey there, I'm Haley. I'm doing an UTAU tutorial. I've done one before, but I'm not sure if I've uploaded it yet. There was a bit naff, shall we say. It went over the basic of the basics. Quick warning, I may waffle a bit in this video. I'm quite good at it. But what I'm going to cover is I'm going to cover different types of voice banks, different UTAU files in regards to actually saving your UTAU, recording your UTAU. I'm going to briefly cover rec lists, the voice bank settings, and the OTO.ini. So different types of voice banks that you can get are CV, VCV, CVVC, and I also know you can get multi-pitch and possibly multilingual, but don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% sure if you can. You probably can, but yeah. What that all stands for is basically consonants and vowels. So CV is consonant followed by a vowel, VCV is a vowel followed by a consonant followed by a vowel, and CVVC is consonant, vowel, vowel, consonant. Most common types of voice banks are CV Japanese, which are quite simple. They're quite easy to make. Most people start out with CV Japanese, even if they're not Japanese. This is what the files look like, nice, simple, not very confusing. I don't have a VCV voice bank that I can show you, but you can get those as well. I'm afraid I haven't actually looked at making a VCV voice bank yet, so I don't really know anything about them at all. CVVC, I've not seen a Japanese CVVC, but I know you can get it for English, which I started doing one there. A lot more complex than CV. It's definitely recommended to start out with a CV and work your way up. And I'm afraid I don't have any multi-pitches or multi-anything to show you. So the files are in regards to this, basically, where you save it, which I always save in the actual given voice folder that comes with the UTAU files, just because it seems like common sense. The things I recommend including are a character file, where you can also have an image, which has to be a BMP from what I understand. So there's my image, and a README file, where you can put a bit of information about your UTAU, which can be literally anything you want. On my UTAUs, it's generally their profile. Some people also include copyright information and things like that. When you start recording and saving files, you're going to have the WAV files, which are the sounds you've actually recorded, and stuff like your frequency files. You will also end up with an OTO file. Don't delete that, ever. But don't delete any of it unless you're replacing or updating a sound. So to actually record it, you're going to need two things. Something to record in, which I recommend Audacity. It's free, and it will export in a wave, which you kind of need. UTAU will only work with waves. And you need a rec list, which you can get by just typing it in. You literally just go to Google, type in Japanese CV rec list, and one will come up somewhere. So I've recorded all of these sounds so far for my newest UTAU, Madeline Kagure, which translates to Madeline doll. So to record it, one of the things you want to consider is what your UTAU is going to actually sound like. They're going to have a soft voice, a strong voice, however you sound normally. I'm trying to make Madeline sound robotic, so I'm probably going to sound quite strange when I show you an example of actually recording, but it just depends on what sort of character you have, or if you actually care or not. Some people like to make sure that they pronounce Japanese sounds properly. I try to, but I don't put a massive amount of effort in because my characters are not Japanese at the end of the day. So I'm up to this line here, so I'm just going to record those sounds. So it is gya, gi, gyu, gye, gyo. I think that was right. I said those last two slightly wrong, but I'm not going to worry about it since I'll just update them later. If you record like this, don't save it like this, or you won't be able to hiragana encode your voice bank with the aliases. Instead, you're going to single out each sound by highlighting it. You just drag it across, export selected, and then save it, and then go on to the next one. So that's recording, pretty simple. And now if I just hit G button, you can now see there I've got those records in my Madeline folder. So if I now go to UTAU and reload, ooh, there they are. Before you auto, which is what we're going on to next, you want to sort frequency maps out. To select multiple files, you go to edit and you tick select multi, and then you just press and hold shift and it highlights them all. Depending on how many you've got, depends on how long that takes. As you can probably see, I've got a lot of files in here that need autoing because she's still quite new. When I'm autoing, this is just the way I learnt to auto. By the way, you access this by going to Tools and Voice Bank Settings. I learnt what I assume is a pretty standard way. You don't have to copy this, but yeah, whatever. I always start off with this, so the offset's 200, the constant's 200, the cutoff's minus 500, pre-trance is 0, and overlap is 60 regardless of the sound. You then hit launch editor and it brings up this. This bit's your offset, this blue bit here, so I'm going to move that back. The blue bit's cut off any sound you don't want, so if you put it here you're going to miss the beginning of the sound. So I'm going to put it here. This green line's the overlap, which helps sounds blend together, which I'm going to put around there. The pre-trance, now you don't need to do this if it's a vowel such as I, E, U, E, and O. You can leave it at 0, but when you've got a consonant and a vowel, my understanding is it basically separates them, but I'm pretty sure there's more to it than that. This pink bit's the consonant section. Obviously these squiggly lines are the actual sound, and then you've got your cutoff, which I'm going to move to there. And then you click close. If you just press the X, it won't save it. Then you're going to click OK. And then you can check that it's worked. You might not be able to hear this. I'm going to try and move the microphone closer so you can. Yeah. Hopefully that worked. But I don't have a brilliant microphone or a headset or anything, so I'm limited as to what I can do. Yeah, autoing's pretty simple once you get your head around it. First few times you'll come across it, you'll be like, what the hell is this? I remember being like that myself when I first got into UTAU. But it's really simple once you start actually doing it. Why do you need to do it? If you don't, if I just get a sound that I've not autoed, so ge, for example, so if I change this to ge, and play it, UTAU can't read the sound properly if you don't auto it, so your voice bank just won't work basically. It will play the sounds but not very well. So you do need to auto. I think I've pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. A few things I want to say is if you do pronounce sounds wrong, don't worry about it. My personal opinion is doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks as long as you love your UTAU and you're using your UTAU. If you want to try harder, try harder. And don't expect your UTAU to suddenly become popular within a few months or even just a few years. You have to put the effort in. You can't just make a voice bank, do a couple of covers, and all of a sudden your UTAU's loved. It might happen, but I doubt it. Now I can't give you an example of Madeline, but I'm going to open something with a different UTAU. I will do too much choice. I'll do Joker. Joker's a nice song. I will do Gibento since I know that's got a Finnish voice bank. This is a Finnish CV voice bank again. It's got Romanji saved, Alias, Hiragana encoded, and everything's been sorted. I have 2 A sounds because one voice bank I came across had A2. So I just duplicated it and changed it. Might have actually been this voice bank, this request. But this is basically what a voice bank sounds like. Or it's what my Gibento sounds like. There are plenty of possibilities within UTAU. You can do append, you can do different languages, just, Google, see what you can find. You might surprise yourself. Any questions, just ask. I'm going to include various contact details. I have YouTube, I have DeviantArt, I have Twitter, I have an email account you can even email me at if you want. They'll all be in the description. So, I think I've covered everything over the basics of making an UTAU. So, yeah, goodbye.